I won't hold my breath, and best of luck to them if one chooses to stand up. They are enjoying their lowest approval rating ever because this is who they are trying to represent. These far left activists who don't stand for anything. They only stand against Donald Trump, and they hate, as you just heard from that one individual who wished death upon the president of the United States. They not just hate him, they hate the nearly 80 million Americans who elected to vote him. The Democrats have officially become the party of crazy. President Trump and the Republicans are the party of common sense.
What happens when Karoline Leavitt drops an $800 million legal nuke on The View and Joe Rogan storms in like a verbal WWE champion with a mic instead of a folding chair? You don't just get a lawsuit, you get cultural carnage. Daytime TV didn't just get roasted, it got straight up charbroiled, served with a side of poetic justice and a Rogan-style roundhouse kick. The second that verdict hit, a million coffee mugs crashed to the floor in synchronized despair, their ceramic shards spelling out reckoning across the studio. Leavitt, the GOP firebrand turned White House press secretary, didn't lob a warning shot. She unleashed a legal apocalypse targeting The View's years of reckless, shade-slinging broadcasts. This wasn't a courtroom skirmish, it was a full-on detonation, with shockwaves rattling every talk show set from here to Timbuktu.
It is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up.
Fact check. No such lawsuit exists. Claims originate from AI-generated YouTube videos, e.g. Agenda Insight, April 2025, debunked by Snopes and Lead Stories. X posts from accounts like MAGA Republic 74 amplify the fiction, but no court records corroborate it. For years, The View strutted like the untouchable queens of daytime, tossing truth out the window like last season's Prada. Their studio was a drama-fueled echo chamber where political discourse morphed into emotional karaoke, loud, shaky, and painfully off-key. They didn't just share opinions, they launched shade missiles wrapped in fake sisterhood energy with zero accountability. Leavitt's $800 million lawsuit wasn't a gentle nudge, it was a sledgehammer to their glass studio, shattering their illusion of invincibility. The hosts, from Whoopi Goldberg's sanctimonious smirks to Joy Behar's snark grenades, had spent years likening conservatives to villains straight out of a comic book. Now, the bill came due, and it wasn't just financial, it was a cultural crucifixion. Context: The View's polarizing left-leaning commentary fuels conservative backlash, but no legal reckoning of this scale has occurred.
The episode of you when you were on The View, when you were running for president, you got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. And then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you.
That red hat that says "Make America Great Again," might as well just put a sticker on that.
Joe Rogan didn't show up to play referee. He stormed the scene like a verbal WWE champion, swapping a folding chair for a podcast mic hot enough to melt steel. His studio became a coliseum, where The View's hypocrisy faced a gladiator-style beatdown. With 17.3 million YouTube subscribers and a Spotify army, Rogan's voice hit like a cultural tsunami, calling out the show's sanctimonious shtick with sniper precision. He didn't just react to the lawsuit, he turned it into a pay-per-view event, narrating the carnage with a mix of MMA commentary grit and stand-up comedian swagger. The hosts scrambled to spin their latest controversy, but Rogan was already mid-monologue, armed with receipts and a laugh that said, "You brought this on yourselves." Reality: Rogan's real critiques, e.g. mocking Behar's 2024 Dragon's jab, align with this role, but no lawsuit commentary is verified.
I get it. I also hate Joy Behar, so I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird. So I hate the whole thing. And frankly, that show, you want to talk about a show that set women back, is The View. You want to talk about that show? If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and fucking the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of, like, there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
X.
Okay. Double X.
They brought in the lowest of the double X's for that one. It's rough.
The View's fatal mistake? Thinking they could clown Karoline Leavitt without consequences. They painted her as a cartoon villain, tossing her name around like confetti at a scandal parade. Leavitt, the quiet GOP strategist who climbed from congressional candidate to Trump's press secretary, was their easy target, until she wasn't. For too long, the host twisted truth so hard it should have filed its own restraining order. Their daily circus of hot takes, cheered by an audience clapping like trained seals, treated Leavitt like a punchline. But she wasn't laughing. She traded their shade for a legal broadsword, slicing through their sequined defenses. This wasn't just defamation, it was defamation in designer heels, and Leavitt was here to collect. Clarification: Leavitt's real prominence makes her a plausible figure for this narrative, but no evidence supports her suing The View. Picture the courtroom. Leavitt's legal team, strapped with receipts so airtight they could have doubled as NASA blueprints, faced off against The View's shell-shocked lawyers. The host's research? Pure fan fiction, dodging facts like gym class dodgeballs. By the trial's end, The View's legal squad looked like they'd been through a mental blender, grayed out, glazed over, unsure what year it was. Leavitt didn't just win. She orchestrated a legal Armageddon, with the $800 million verdict landing like a meteor on their studio floor. The gavel's echo wasn't just a sound, it was a cultural detonation, sending aftershocks through every talk show set. Fact: no trial occurred. The story stems from viral YouTube fabrications like Magnet TV Genius Data's April 2025 video.
The culture shift between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stopped looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions, whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, whatever it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing. And I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side. We're on the right side. And if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do. And no one's critically thinking about it.
Cut to Rogan's podcast studio. The man's choking on elk jerky, laughing so hard his "I told you so" could be heard from space. His mic wasn't just hot, it was a flamethrower, torching The View's smuggery with surgical precision. He called the show a rabies-infested henhouse, a therapy circle that lost the plot, breeding bad takes faster than mold in a leaky basement. This wasn't commentary, it was comedy surgery, with Rogan as the surgeon and The View as the patient flatlining on air. His wheezing belly laugh paired with savage one-liners turned their downfall into a cultural roast for the ages. Context: Rogan's 2024 rants, e.g. mocking Bihar's Dragons claim, fuel this portrayal, but no lawsuit-specific roast exists. The View's smugness didn't just crack, it vaporized. Leavitt's lawsuit stripped their crown, leaving their moral high ground a smoldering crater. The self-righteous applause that once fueled their hot takes, muted by the thunder of legal documents hitting the desk. Suddenly, the queens of daytime judgment were defendants, their sequined armor replaced by courtroom sweat. Whoopi's smirks faded, Bihar's snark fizzled, and Sonny Hostin's legal jargon couldn't save them. They weren't dishing shade anymore, they were served on a platter of public humiliation, garnished with an $800 million price tag. Reality: the show continues without evidence of such a collapse. Rogan didn't stop at mocking the hosts. He dissected their entire formula like a chef carving a rotten turkey. Reheated outrage, pre-programmed applause, panels sounding like wine moms misreading Wikipedia. It was all fair game. His podcast became an all-you-can-laugh buffet, serving The View's legal meltdown with a side of gasoline. He dragged their phony sisterhood, their synchronized head nods, their sanctimonious meltdowns when anyone dared color outside their script. This wasn't just a roast, it was a cultural autopsy, with Rogan as the coroner calling time of death on their credibility. Fact: Rogan's real critiques of The View's lowest tier hosts a line here, but no lawsuit context is verified. Nobody saw Karoline Leavitt swinging like this. Not the media, not the View's overpaid legal crew, not even the studio audience clapping on cue. They underestimated her, treating her like a meme in their daytime drama circus. Big mistake. Memes don't sue until they do. Leavitt, the quiet strategist with a spine of steel, turned their hit piece into a legal grenade, pin-pulled and ticking. Her $800 million strike wasn't just a win, it was a game changer, rewriting the rules for anyone who thought they could torch reputations without a fight. Clarification: Leavitt's GOP rise makes her a compelling figure, but no lawsuit against The View exists. Leavitt's fictional victory wasn't just a payout, it was case law etched in the courtroom playbook like a warning shot.
This is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest fucking statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said. Yeah. You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't believe
the other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said was
there
was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles. And then there's also, listen,
it doesn't make sense to me that a middle-aged woman could be dumb.
When you're worried about losing your job and you're worried about podcasts taking over and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won, and this is fucking great, and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. It's just frantic. It's foolish.
Legal departments across TV land hit panic mode, whispering, wait, how many times did we call someone a national threat last year? The $800 million verdict sent aftershocks through every talk show, from morning fluff to late night snark. This wasn't just about The View, it was a wake-up call for every platform that danced too close to defamation, thinking studio lights were a shield. Leavitt's nuke redrew the line. Sass doesn't trump slander. Context: media outlets face defamation scrutiny, but no Leavitt case sets precedent. The internet didn't just react, it detonated. X turned into a meme-fueled war zone, with Leavitt slapping an $800 million Uno reverse card and The View repackaged as court TV. Parody skits popped up faster than TikTok trends, remixing the host's worst takes with slow-motion zooms, dramatic violin swells, and gavel sound effects straight out of a crime doc. One viral post nailed it. She took their views and made them pay-per-view. The scandal became a digital snack pack, devoured by meme lords and outrage enthusiasts alike. Reality: X posts from accounts like Dip Yo Much spread the fake lawsuit, amplifying its viral reach. Rogan's rants hit like Mortal Kombat finishers. Fatality, Misinformation Edition. Every sentence was a cultural karma bomb, narrating The View's collapse like a wildlife doc titled When Egos Go Extinct. He didn't just mock the hosts, he dissected their downfall with the precision of a decade-long MMA commentator. His laugh, dripping with vindication, echoed louder than any studio applause. Rogan handed Leavitt a metaphorical championship belt, turning her win into a cultural KO. Fact: Rogan's real critiques focus on The View's ideology, not a specific lawsuit. The verdict dropped, and The View went silent. No spicy clapbacks, no bold defenses, just crickets. The show, known for non-stop chatter, spicy one-liners, and shade grenades lobbed daily, was reduced to awkward airspace. Their PR team hit blackout mode as reputation balloons hissed into oblivion. The hosts, once strutting like daytime royalty, now faced a void louder than any monologue. You could almost hear their egos deflating under the weight of that $800 million gavel. Reality: the show hasn't addressed any lawsuit, as it's fictional. Behind the scenes, The View's producers were in full meltdown. Every word was now run past legal teams, with lawyers hovering like hawks whispering, rephrase that or it's another $100 million. Hot takes became high stakes as daytime drama met real-world consequences. No laugh track to soften the blow. The once bold panelists tiptoed around scripts, their fiery rants replaced by nervous glances. The studio, once a sass sanctuary, felt like a legal minefield wired to explode. Context: legal caution is plausible for controversial shows, but no evidence ties this to Leavitt. Advertisers didn't just pull back, they fled like Black Friday shoppers in reverse. Morning coffee brands ghosted, wellness companies testimonies vanished faster than common sense during a The View hot take. The show's commercial breaks, now a sad parade of foot fungus cream and knockoff cat food ads. No brand wanted to touch a talk show whose legal fees rivaled a rocket launch. The View wasn't just bleeding money, it was hemorrhaging dignity, left with sponsors catering to viewers with athlete's foot and 4 cats. Fact, no sponsor exodus is documented. The narrative exaggerates real sponsor backlash risks. Something rare happened. The View's audience started thinking. Questions like, did they really say that live? And is this news or unscripted rage improv? Bubbled up. Viewership tanked, credibility shattered like a dropped iPhone on concrete. People weren't just tuning out, they were waking up, realizing the difference between a conversation and a lecture. The internet archived the chaos, with ex-users posting side-by-side clips of Leavitt's courtroom finesse versus the host's on-air meltdowns. Context. Declining media trust fuels this, but no data confirms a viewership drop tied to Leavitt. X became a meme coliseum, with the View's collapse as the main event. One gem showed Leavitt spinning a wheel of misfortune, landing on defamation claims like legal bingo. Another had the hosts edited into a crime doc, complete with courtroom gavels and guilty verdicts. Photoshop wizards turned the panel into a reality show, now streaming on Court TV. The memes weren't just funny, they were a cultural autopsy, slicing through the View's facade with surgical glee. Reality. Memes amplify the fake lawsuit spread, driven by viral X posts. Leavitt's win wasn't just a lawsuit, it was a cultural shockwave, a war horn for accountability. It screamed, your status doesn't make you untouchable. Smugness isn't a shield, it's a target. The $800 million price tag was a bargain for a lesson every media giant needed. Twist facts, torch reputations, and you'll pay. Maybe more than most. This wasn't a headline, it was a line in the sand, bold enough to trip anyone over their own ego. Fact, the cultural critique of media recklessness is real, but the lawsuit isn't. While The View floundered in its echo chamber, Joe Rogan, mocked for elk meat and alien chats, held the mic of reason. He didn't try to monologue, he debated, questioned, and thrived in raw, unscripted chaos. His podcast, with millions tuning in, outshone The View's scripted sanctimony. Rogan's not perfect, but in a world where pundits posture, his willingness to say, I got that wrong, is revolutionary. He's the oracle of a sarcastic smirk, proving credibility comes from transparency, not airtime. Fact, Rogan's 17.3 million YouTube subscribers dwarfed The View's reach, reflecting a media shift. The View thought they were serving truth to power, but they ended up the warm-up act at their own public roast. Leavitt didn't just win, she dismantled their soapbox empire piece by piece in the most satisfying way possible. Their audience tuned in for fury, but left with a masterclass in legal regret. Leavitt wasn't just a plaintiff, she was a cultural correction, proving one person with receipts and a killer backbone could flip the entire script. Rogan's laughter echoed, a reminder, when you build on smugginess and gossip, it takes just one courtroom to bring the curtain down. This wasn't a verdict, it was karma, charbroiled and served. Conclusion, a fictional tale, but a warning shot that hit like a cultural earthquake.